The Premier League has over the years been graced by many fine teams, but very few come close to the Arsenal team of the 2003-2004 season, which has come to be known as the Invincibles. But what happened to that team that achieved the impossible? This was the German keeper's first season in London, arriving from Borussia Dortmund and replacing David Seaman. The legendary German keeper's feisty character will always be remembered as he played all the 38 games during that season. The supremely talented shot-also stopper gave us some great moments down the years, and so it came as no surprise to learn that he continued to play at a top level even after leaving Arsenal in 2008 to join German side Stuttgart, where he stayed for 2 seasons before returning to Arsenal briefly in 2011, a year after retiring. He has since held different coaching roles and even enjoyed a brief stint on Hertha Berlin's advisory board. Cameroonian international spent 6 seasons at Arsenal, including 2 after partaking in the Invincibles season. He later left and joined Premier League side Portsmouth in 2006, where he won an FA Cup title. Then in March 2010, he joined Spanish side Cordoba before retiring at the end of that season. He's currently an Arsenal ambassador for the African continent, and he's also enjoyed a spell as a La Liga pundit. Centre-back controversially joined Arsenal from rivals Tottenham in 2001 and was arguably the Gunners' most famous signing at the time. He went on to spend 5 good seasons at Highbury before joining Portsmouth. At least this time, the move was not controversial. From Portsmouth, his travels took him to Notts County FC, where he signed a 5-year deal. He, however, walked out of the club 3 days after making his debut and returned to Arsenal for the second half of the 2009-10 season. He also featured for Newcastle before hanging up his boots in 2011. The former defender joined the Trinidad and Tobago national team in 2017, acting as an assistant coach to Dennis Lawrence. A year later, he transitioned to club football, taking over as the Macclesfield town coach. He also had a stint with League One side Southend United, where he worked until 2020. He's also dabbled with politics and admitted in a recent interview that he had no plans to return to the dugout. Ivory Coast international feature for Arsenal from 2002 to 2009 and continued to play at a top level even after leaving the Gunners. He had stints at Manchester City, Liverpool and Celtic, where he enjoyed yet another invincible season as the Hoops won the Scottish title in an unblemished season, earning 106 points across 38 games. How lucky! He eventually retired from professional football in 2017. Toure had a brief stint as a coach on his own at Wigan Athletic, but the gig lasted for just 9 matches before he was sacked. Graduating from the Gunners' youth academy, Cole was promoted to the senior team in 1999 and became a key part of the Arsenal team in his early years. Not long after the Invincibles season, the left-back departed Arsenal under a cloud, forcing a move to London rivals Chelsea, where he spent the following 8 seasons, winning numerous titles. He also featured for Italian side Roma and had a stint in the MLS with LA Galaxy. He also had a brief stint at Derby County before announcing his retirement from professional football. In July 2021, Cole was appointed as Lee Carsley's assistant in the England U21 side, and in February 2022, he joined Frank Lampard's coaching staff at Everton. He recently worked as part of Wayne Rooney's coaching team at Birmingham City. Eccentric Swedish midfielder wore the Arsenal shirt for 9 go seasons between 1998 and 2007, winning 2 Premier League titles during that time. He left and joined West Ham briefly in what proved to be an unsuccessful move. Ljungberg then headed to the MLS and even featured for Celtic before hanging up his boots, but not before he featured for Mumbai City FC in the inaugural ISL. He returned to Arsenal, this time as a coach, working for the youth teams as head coach. He also worked at Wolfsburg Salzburg as an assistant coach. His biggest gig, however, in his coaching career has to be taking over as Arsenal's interim head coach in December 2019. He, however, took charge of just 4 matches before Mikel Arteta was appointed manager. The Frenchman netted the winner against Leicester City in the 2-1 win on the last day of that campaign and lifted the trophy at the end of an incredible season for Arsenal. The legendary Frenchman wore the famous Arsenal shirt for 9 good seasons before eventually leaving in 2005. He's also one other gunner to play for Manchester City, where he retired, but had stints at Juventus and Inter Milan before that. He also tried his hand at management, working with MLS side New York City FC as part of the City football group for 2 seasons. He then took over League One side Nice as head coach before landing a Premier League job at Crystal Palace. That didn't go as planned though, as he was sacked in 2022. Bergkamp joined Arsenal in 2001 and went on to enjoy a distinguished career with the Gunners for 4 years. He then left for Valencia and later Corinthians before he hanged up his professional boots in 2010. He then got into management and, no, not on the pitch, but in the office, working as director of football at Corinthians. In 2019, he returned to Arsenal as the club's technical director, where he has won plaudits for his work. Brazilian international was unknown when he joined Arsenal in 2002, but after 6 seasons, he left as one of the finest holding midfielders in England at the time, forming a solid base with Vieira, one that Arsenal has struggled to replace over the years. After leaving in 2008, he joined Panathinaikos and then returned to Brazil in 2011 with Grêmio and then Atlético Mineiro before retiring in 2013. He then pursued a career as an international consultant, currently representing a number of clubs and players. The Frenchman was truly a key figure during the Invincibles season, scoring 14 goals and making him the second highest scorer after Thierry Henry. In total, he spent 6 seasons at Arsenal before eventually leaving in 2006. He featured for Villarreal and Aston Villa, and just like Ljungberg, spent time in India before finally calling time on his iconic playing career in 2016. He then decided to get into coaching, at first starting at Arsenal, and also has spent some time as a football analyst. He recently revealed his intentions to become a head coach in his own right. Another key figure in the Invincibles team, a Dutch legend in every sense of the word. The Dutchman spent 11 good seasons with the Gunners and is regarded as one of the greatest stars to have played for the London club. He initially indicated that he was not keen on coaching and even turned down a scouting role with the Gunners, but seemed to have changed his mind along the way. He began his coaching diploma in 2008, starting out at his former club Ajax before becoming Netherlands B-team assistant coach. He then made a return to Ajax as assistant coach between 2011 and 2017. He recently told Dutch media that he is itching to get back in football after some time away from the game. Maybe we will see the iconic Dutchman soon enough. GOAT, a France and Arsenal legend. Mr. Vavavoom scored 30 league goals as Arsenal lifted the league title undefeated and would become Arsenal captain when Vieira departed, before leaving himself in 2007 to join Barcelona. Following his time at the Catalan club, which saw him win 7 trophies, the Frenchman headed to MLS to join New York Red Bulls, forming an unlikely partnership with Bradley Wright Phillips. He was not done though. He returned to Arsenal for a loan spell in 2012, scoring his final Gunners goal in a 2-1 win over Sunderland. After hanging up his boots, Henry joined the Belgium national team as an assistant coach in 2016 before going on to coach Monaco as head coach in 2018. He, however, left after just a season and took over at Montreal Impact. He rejoined the Belgian national team in 2021, serving as Roberto Martinez's assistant at Euro 2020. He also has been involved in a lot of media work and is a part of a hugely popular CBS sports crew who provide coverage average of the Champions League. The former forward is also the head coach of the France under-21 team. Well, now you know where the famous Invincibles are. Can we say that Arsenal team is the best ever in the Premier League history? Let us know what you think in the comments below.